These are old 8mm films that we started taking back in 1940.
Hi, I'm Pearl Hatch, and I'm the Scholl side of the family. And this is our oldest daughter, Carmen, when she was almost 2 years old. This is the first house that Lozelle built for us in Creve Coeur, Illinois.
Hi, I'm Libby, and I'm the middle daughter, and I'm going to ask a few questions. Where's Creve Coeur?
Creve Coeur is just outside of East Peoria. This is my sister Grace Jones. She made the little coat that Carmen was wearing.
These are my parents, Alda Hatch and Otis Hatch, who've driven up from Timewell. He was a rural mail carrier after having farmed. This is my Aunt Annis, came with them, my mother's sister, Annis Dobb.
This is Carmen and her first little girlfriend, Lona Reedy. This isn't our dog. It must have just wandered into the picture. This is my brother-in-law, Russell Jones, and my sister, Grace Jones. Carmen always was busy from the time she got up till she went to bed, but she never wanted to go to bed. This is David Unger, Carmen's first little boyfriend, but not her last. This is Carmen down at Grace and Russell Jones in Quincy, Illinois. We were having a family reunion that day. And this is my cousin, Maud Patton, from Galesburg, Illinois.
And who was her mother?
My Aunt Daisy, my father's only sister.
Now, was that your car?
No, I think that belonged to Russell. McNeil and her husband, Tom McNeil, and sons, Giles and Tommy. This is my brother, Chuck. He had just driven a new car out for us from Detroit. He was about 18 years old then.
This is Russ' little van. He sold candy to the local stores. It says hokey pokey, a penny a lick.
Now, was this true penny candy?
Yeah.
Now this is my mother on the left and my Aunt Lizzie on the right and my Aunt Kate on the other in the back, and my Uncle Wills. This is Lozelle when he had hair.
Even muscles. This is Pearl's brother Bill, and he was acting like a tough man there, so Tom decided to fight him. They got at it, but Tom kind of gave him a little extra trouble, so as you'll see, he had to go back to the chopping wood to build up the muscles in it.
This is Carmen and her first little friend in California, Sarah Shuffleton, who lived just around the corner from us. And they still see each other after all these years. And I'm sitting down there with that hat and feeding Libby, and Sarah is standing by me looking at the baby. Since Sarah was an only child, the baby was very interesting to her.
This must have been about 1942, since I was born in February that year.
I think that's about right, Libby.
And that would make Sarah and Carmen kindergartners.
Right. This is Sarah's swing in Sarah's yard. Some bow that Carmen's wearing that day. She's liable to take off any minute.
And this was in La Crescenta? That they
Yes,
lived at the time?
yes, this was in La Crescenta. And this is Carmen up in the snow. We were getting homesick to see a little snow, so when they had the first one up at Mount Wilson, we got out her snow clothes from Illinois and put them on and went up to let her play in the snow. But we really aren't homesick for the snow anymore. We should have taken a sled for her.
This is a little station wagon Carmen got for Christmas, and she said, I don't know whose idea this was, not mine. And in the background there you can see the car that Chuck drove out, the 37 Ford.
This is our neighbor, Ralph Freshley.
That's the trailer we pulled out from Peoria.
That must be the side lot that you turned into the playground for us?
Yeah.
That's right.
This is when a bunch of fellows from Lockheed went up into Red Rock Canyon for a little target shooting and took Pearl's father along with us.
This is my father, Edward Scholl. He said he could outwalk any of them that day up at Red Rock Canyon.
About how old was he at that point?
Well, he was in his late 70s. That was the time that he offered to paint my kitchen stool red, and I got him the paint and the brush, and Carmen was out there watching him, and pretty soon my father came in very distressed because when he wasn't looking, Carmen had painted her legs and her shoes.
Who are these guys, Dad?
Well, these are fellows from Lockheed. There's a Jim Mahoney there, and Warren Moorhead comes up in a little bit. And I don't remember who.
That's Jim Baker's mother.
And what did you guys do at Lockheed at that point?
Well, we were in the tooling department, tooling up for warplanes, really the Hudson bomber for England. They hadn't known much about mass production out here. That's why we came out to.
Here we are up at Yosemite. And Mrs. Haddon took care of Libby. She wasn't old enough to come up, and it's the first vacation we ever had in California. It was beautiful spring weather, lots of water in the river and the falls.
Was this a campground?
Yes, Yosemite campgrounds, yes. I think this is Carmen getting ready to take a cold walk into the stream.
I think it was harder to see the heads and the feet in those days, those cameras.
Right, there she goes.
It's a rocky beach.
This is one time that she doesn't have on those skimpy bathing suits my girls seem to wear in these pictures. She had a great time up there. It was lovely and beautiful.
So they gave you vacations during the war?
Yes, I think it was, they were working lots longer hours than they ever did before or since.
Oh, look at the cars going through the tree.
Yes, that's the big tree that you can drive your car through. I believe it's gone now. I think I asked somebody that the other day and they said it wasn't there anymore. See the lizards on the ground. Here are the falls, and they were really rushing when we were there. They'd had plenty of rain that year. In fact, it rained every weekend of March. This is the lot next to our house, and Lozelle put a
No, this is still Yosemite.
Yosemite.
And it's proof that Mother can ride a bicycle.
Oh, yes, you're right, Libby. There I am, and I don't even remember it, and I've never ridden one since.
Well, you're doing fine.
And I rode all over, I guess. I bet Yosemite would be much more crowded now, because it certainly wasn't bad at that time.
Is this?
That's Grace Ziegler, our friend's wife that came with us from Peoria when we came out. Carmen's getting older and getting taller.
Getting professional in this, Daddy.
Well, I had a friend take these color shots with his camera. He had a new camera.
I think this was at a Christmas party at the Mahoney's, who lived 2 doors from us, and he worked at Lockheed too. Our first Christmas in California. This is Libby in her high chair. Not a year old yet. Probably 6 months or 7 or 8.
Ten.
And this was our first house that we had bought on Mayfield Avenue in La Crescenta
How big was it, Daddy?
1,200 feet, I think.
for $4,500, and I thought we'd never live to pay for it. Another stray animal come to play with the girls. Carmen's going to take Libby a wild ride now. Hang on, Libby.
Hard on that lumpy grass.
Out of gas, I think.
I guess Lozelle's going to take Libby for a little ride. We hadn't been in this house, for 5 or 6 months and hadn't got our flowers all in yet. This is Libby and her playpen. That's a good one.
Round face.
She liked her orange juice.
Now you've got your bushes.
Yes, those are chrysanthemums along the driveway. Oh dear. You cried real tears.
I never did like to miss a meal. Hey, Daddy, what's this?
This is at the Christmas party at Mahoney's. And this is the mailbox holder that Chuck built for us, and he called it Cheeves. And this is my sister Frankie and her son Richard, Sonny. I think it was on our first Thanksgiving Day in California. There's Connie Whalen, who lived across the street.
You must have a red hat on. I don't think your hair was ever that red.
No, I think it is a red hat.
Are you going to the zoo or something?
birthday party, maybe.
I don't know, just a lot of people there with us that day, and we have our roses blooming now. Seems like we were always on a driveway that went downhill. This is Carmen and Libby on Christmas morning.
That's my old Chevy I drove to Lockheed and hauled riders during the gas shortage.
What year was it?
Um,
29?
No, probably 31 or something. I don't remember how old it was.
I never knew you owned a Chevy.
Yeah, I did.
I remember Madge McGugan and I were sitting up in the front seat with you, and the battery was on the floor,
Under the floor.
and it caught on fire, and Madge and I had to put our feet up on the seat while you put the fire out as we were going down the road.
That's almost as bad as the time we were going through the desert and we had to turn on the heater because the car was overheating, and we died of overheating ourselves.
And we drank all that cold lemonade, you remember?
Took my shoes off and the steam came up. I don't think I'm going very far.
At least you were happy.
Yes.
Oh, that energy. This is the dollhouse that Lozelle built Carmen for Christmas. And Grace, my sister, made all the furniture for it, and it was just darling.
Did you build it at home, or did you?
I built it in my cabinet shop in Montrose. That's after I'd started contracting.
Ah. And what year did you do that? Do you remember?
No, I think that's an error because I wasn't contracting this year.
Uh-huh. Look at that fireplace.
Here comes
Cute.
trouble.
Yep. Uh-oh. Watch out, Carmen.
Sibling rivalry and the neighbor's dog. Too bad we can't hear what Carmen's saying, isn't it?
I think we can guess.
A nice chimney.
I'm not as happy there.
No. You're happier now. That was a good shot, Libby.
Bottoms up.
Here's Carmen at Forest Home riding on Johnny Kelly's back in the swimming pool.
In one of the infamous skimpy bathing suits.
Yeah, that's right, Carmen. Even skimpier than it was last year. Sorry about that.
Now, this was a different time than the Yosemite before when you left me at
Now,
home.
this is Forest Home.
Oh, this is, excuse me, Forest Home.
Yes.
The
So-
Kellys and us went up for a week camp, Christian camp.
And you stayed home with Donnie and Annie Grace. And Annie Grace let you ride on the vacuum cleaner when she ran it. And when I got home, you wanted to do that to me, but I made you stay off. Is that Ray Kelly? I believe it is.
She didn't have any children yet. There you are.
No, but Ray didn't have any yet.
Swimsuits have gone a long way in 50 years.
Here we are loading up to go home after a week at Forest Home. We'd brought all of our luggage in the little trailer that Lozelle had built back in Peoria. And there goes Ray, back to get one more thing. Oh, that's Patty. They did have Patty
yes,
then.
Okay.
So your little blonde head down there. And there's Lozelle with all the books he's bought.
Probably still haven't read them.
Oh, I doubt that. See, you still got a little hair in that picture. And there's Donnie, 6, just ready for his first birthday party.
Okay, tell us who Donnie is.
Donnie's Grayson Russell's little boy, and Russell's a Marine over in,
San Diego.
well, San Diego and Kuwait. I don't know where he was at that time. He wasn't in the country at this time. Donnie's getting ready for his first birthday cake.
I remember he must have been in Kwajalein at one point because they had a dog named Kwajalein.
Right,
Yeah.
he was, and he was a drummer in the Marine band, and here's Donnie trying to beat the cake.
See, it's genetic.
Right, there he is. I don't know what Carmen's eating.
Remind you a little of Amber.
Yes, it does. And here we are with my sister Frankie and Libby and Carmen down at the ocean at Santa Monica.
Now, had Frankie moved out here recently?
Oh, she had been here for quite a long while,
Oh.
since Richard was a baby. Somebody got some water in their face.
Yeah, well,
See, that bathing suit's 1 year older.
yes. Carmen's one size bigger.
Yeah. But you're going to get it one of these days, Libby, so
Yes, look out. There's Mother under the umbrella.
right, I don't care much for the beach. I get burned so badly. That's a plunging neckline if I ever saw one.
I don't think they're any riskier now than that one.
And you know, at the time, we didn't think anything of it because you two didn't complain then.
We have ever since.
Right. Here we are back on Mayfield. Now we have rose trees in the yard. And we're wearing our pinafore dresses that Annie Grace made and sent to us.
You still haven't done the play yard yet, have you? It looks
Doesn't look
it's
like
bare.
it. Looks bare.
Yeah, the pictures are not in sequence.
Well, but I am older, I think, too. This one. That neighborhood had a lot of children, didn't it?
Yes, it did.
No more. The freeway took it.
Right.
But in those days, you could build houses so people could have kids. Now in Santa Barbara, you just don't build them because of the butterflies.
And here's the play yard that Lozelle
Okay.
built.
Yeah.
It had
It
swings.
was built because look, we're in our pinafores.
Had swings and an acting bar and a slide. And the slide was tall.
And a sandbox, I remember.
Oh, yes, and Lozelle fenced it all in.
I remember once Uncle Chuck gave me something like 500 pennies. And I went out in the sandbox and lost 487 of them.
And here's our cousin Harold Clark who now lives in Peoria. He was at that time a captain in the Army. And he had just gotten out of the service and come home. He'd been in Tel Aviv and Italy.
Then did he go to law school?
He already, they let him stay in law school and pass the bar, and the day after he passed the bar, he went into the service.
Here's little Jimmy James in the cap, and the little pain boy, and Libby, I guess. And Jimmy was the little boy that our neighbor took to keep during the war, and then she became sick, and so I took him and kept him for a whole year until his mother remarried and went back to Kansas. And we still hear about Jimmy, and we hear from his parents. Carmen is learning how to roller skate.
Helps to have a driveway that goes downhill.
It was too steep for her at that point.
Libby in her little blue coat and hat.
Look at those hills. It must have been a nice, clear day.
That was before smog.
Yeah.
Here are some dress-up clothes that my sister Grace made for the girls, and they had lots of fun wearing them and twirling and twirling.
Now, what about Ruthie? Was she getting ready to be born, or was she born?
Well, when you were 4, she was born, and you weren't 4.
No,
She
5.
was 5.
Oh, that's right.
No, she wasn't born.
So you weren't 5 yet, Libby. In fact, these pictures were all taken before Ruthie was born.
So she was in the slide camera era rather
Right.
than the film.
Right.
That's why she doesn't get very good representation here.
They really liked those dresses. I think they wore them till they were rags. It's too bad we can't hear what they're saying.
After this little segment, it'll go on into another segment that'll take you back to Mount Sterling, Illinois.
Mount Sterling is the town that I was born in, and Lozelle was born 7 miles west of there in Timewell, Illinois.
And you were one of 6?
Yes, I was the